Welcome to today's exciting Roots Magic webinar. My name is Michael Booth, and I'm Vice President of Roots Magic and one of its developers. Now, Bruce is away on the road today, so I'll be handling hosting duties myself. Personal Historian 2 is the latest version of our groundbreaking personal and family history writing software. But many still have questions and concerns about the upgrade process. How is this upgrade different than past updates? What will happen to all of my data? And can I have both Personal Historian 1 and Personal Historian 2 on my computer at the same time? Tonight we'll answer all your questions and show you how to transition to version 2's new features quickly and painlessly. There are two ways that you may receive your copy of Personal Historian. One will be on a CD, an actual CD which you may order from us or find in a store or on Amazon, and the second will be a direct download of the software. Now, the way that you install either version is very similar. I'm going to start out using the CD version. Now, when you install from the CD, you just simply insert the CD into your computer, and this little menu screen will pop up. I'll say Personal Historian 2, and there's three buttons. One is to install Personal Historian. Second one is to install a copy of Roots Magic if you want just the free version of Roots Magic on your computer. And the third one is to visit our website at personalhistorian.com. Now, this big giant button right here is to install Personal Historian 2 onto your computer. So click on that giant button, and it will start up Personal Historian 2 installer. Now, if you are using Windows Vista or higher, like Windows 7 or Windows 8, you will see a user account control message just asking if you want to allow the following program to make changes to your computer. What you want to look for is this verified publisher. It'll say that this is Personal Historian 2 installer. The publisher verified is Roots Magic Incorporated. That guarantees that this is an untampered with original installer that came from us. And so if you see that, you can rest assured that you're safe, and you can click yes, and the installer will come up. It'll say, welcome to the Personal Historian 2 Setup Wizard. This will install Personal Historian 2 on your computer. It is recommended that you close all other applications before continuing. Click Next to continue or Cancel to exit the setup. One question that a lot of people will have is, can I still have Personal Historian 1, version 1, on my computer at the same time as version 2? The answer is yes. There are several differences. For example, the file format in version 2 is a bit different than version 1, but you can have both versions on your computer. In fact, the only reason why you would want to do that is if you are still working with other people and they're using Personal Historian 1 and you want to be able to move files back and forth. But otherwise, most people will not need to have both versions on their computer. Most people will want to uninstall version 1, which you may do just from the Windows control panel. Just go to uninstall program. You'll see Personal Historian 1 listed, and you can uninstall it there. Now we'll just click Next. We'll accept the agreement. It will ask, where do you want to install Personal Historian 2? The best option on any of these questions is to just choose the default. Okay, the setup program is going to automatically fill in the most common, the most frequently desired option for you. So just go ahead and click Next. It's going to create a little menu group, and I can even have it put an icon on my desktop. Now click Install, and it chugs along installing Personal Historian 2 onto my computer. One thing you may notice that your setup may be a little bit different than mine. Your setup may ask if you want to install the Place database. Now, this Place database, it's basically a very large file. It contains 3.5 million places, as well as their names and coordinates and so on. That is used for mapping and geocoding, and the file is used by Family Atlas, Roots Magic 4 or 5 or higher, and Personal Historian 2 or higher. So if you have already installed Family Atlas or Roots Magic, it will have already installed that place database for you. If you have not, when I go through the setup process, it'll ask if I want to install and maybe even download that place database if I'm not installing from a CD. And that's completely optional. It's a large file, but it does help you in the geocoding, and in other words, looking at place names and finding latitude, longitude, and mapping in Personal Historian 2. Okay, but that was pretty much it for the setup. Now it's saying that's complete, and there's a checkbox here to launch Personal Historian. I'll click Finish, and the menu will come back up, and then I'll see this screen asking me to choose my product. I can either, if I have not purchased the full version of Personal Historian, I can click on the first button to just use Personal Historian 2 Essentials, which is our free version. Or, if I haven't already purchased it, I can click on this button to order it online or by phone or by mail, or I can unlock Personal Historian 2 if I've bought the CD, or if I ordered the download of the full version. I'll choose this third option, and it gives me a spot right here to enter my name and registration key. And I'll type in I can just copy and paste my registration key. If you are installing from CD, this will be on the inside of your CD case. There should be a card on the left-hand side that will have in big black letters the registration key. You can tell that it's a registration key because it will always begin with the letters PH2. Okay, once you've entered a valid registration key, you can click Next, and then it asks if you wish to register your software, and that is very important. Okay, registering your software, it does several things. First of all, it makes you eligible for free technical support. It allows you that when we have future versions coming out and upgrades, that you can get a discount on those future versions. And very commonly, it's very helpful if you happen to lose that registration key. If you lose your CD or you lose the email that you got, as long as you registered it with us, we have a record of that and we can restore it to you. We can get you back up and running without you having to buy the software again. And it also allows us to send you a monthly email with news and tips, and to let you know if there are any updates or upgrades available. So you just want to click Register Online. That will take you to our website. It fills in your key, and you just enter your name, whatnot, and then click Register. It's easy as that. Then it says, thank you for registering your copy of Personal Historian. Click Close. And Personal Historian 2. Sorry, I need to move it over to this monitor. Personal Historian 2 will then open up on my screen. Okay. One thing that you should be aware of is the difference between upgrades and updates. An update is a minor update to the software which is put out fairly regularly. And if you had, for example, if you had Personal Historian version 1, we put out updates regularly that had fixes and some new enhancements and just minor changes. Then every so often we put out a major upgrade. Okay, an update would be like 1.0 to 1.1 to 1.2, and then an upgrade would be like the jump from version 1 to version 2. Okay, and a major upgrade is not free. that does require a purchase, but it's at a discount. But that will have many new features, and as was the case with the jump from version 1 to version 2, many new features and changes to warrant the upgrade price. But in the meantime, updates in Personal Historian 2 have been simplified quite a bit. When you start up Personal Historian 2, for the first time, you'll see this new screen, and it will check, and you'll see this little box, and you know right here that it will check on the internet and tell you that there is an update available, and you can just click here to update it. Now, if you ignore or just close down that news button, you can also see if an update is available in the lower right-hand corner. You'll see this little update available with this little green arrow which catches your attention. Click on the box. It says there's a newer update available. Just click on it. It will download it. It will go to run the installer. Again, look for that verified publisher. Click yes to give it permission. And then the update runs. You don't have to really click on anything. It's just updating the Personal Historian files for me. And then sorry, this is happening on my second monitor. But then I can now look under check for updates, and you should see it saying that you're using the most up-to-date version of Personal Historian. So very easy to get updates and make sure you have the latest version now. Okay, now and some other questions. If you are using Personal Historian version 1 and you have upgraded to version 2, as I mentioned before, we have made changes to the file format, which allows us to basically support all these new features. However, it's very easy to move your data from Personal Historian 1 into Personal Historian 2. All you have to do is just click Open. Okay, and then in the lower right-hand corner, you can choose between looking for Personal Historian files or Personal Historian 1 files. I just want to draw your attention. Personal Historian 1 files end with the extension .phst. Version 2 files end with .phist. So it has that extra little letter in there. That's the difference between a version 1 and a version 2 file. You can convert it from a version 1 file into a version 2 file by simply opening up the version 1 file, and Personal Historian will create a new version 2 file and transfer all of your data over. So you want to change this filter to just look for the version 1 files. Scroll down here, find your version 1 files that ends in .phst, and then there's a handy-dandy wizard which guides you step by step in converting the version 1 file to version 2. Give it the new file name. It tells you where it's going to put it. And ta-da, it's now brought over all my information from before, all the stories, pictures, everything from version 1 just moves seamlessly into version 2. Now, some people have questions about converting multiple files. If you have multiple files, and many people do using Personal Historian, because you'll have a separate file for each person that you're writing about. You will need to open each one of those files and just run that quick conversion process on each one and create a new version 2 file for each one of them. It doesn't take long. Are there any other questions? Okay, a Personal Historian manual. In terms of help working with the software, you can, up here on the main menu under Help and Contents, this will bring up the help screen. It'll show you everything with the software. We don't have a printed manual at this time, but that is something that we are working on. And we do have some webinars on Personal Historian 2, how to use it, another one on tips for writing a personal history. Any other questions? Okay, someone has asked about running Personal Historian 2 on a Mac with Crossover. And yes, you can do that. I've done that successfully on my MacBook. It works really well. For more information about that, I'm just going to close this down. You can go to rootsmagic.com/Mac, and that will take you to a page which talks about running Roots Magic and our other software, including Personal Historian, on your Mac. There are a couple different options. The one that I like the best is this Crossover program. Makes it very slick without actually having to install Windows on your Mac. And for more information about that, I would suggest looking at our webinar on running Roots Magic on a Mac, and all of the concepts that are presented there. All the concepts that are presented there are applicable to Personal Historian as well. I neglected to mention how you install Personal Historian if you're just downloading it. Very easy. If you go to rootsmagic.com, click on Downloads, you'll see Personal Historian right here. You can just click Try Now, because the free Personal Historian Essentials is identical to the full version of Personal Historian. Okay, it's just a question of entering that registration key to unlock the extra features. So they are exactly the same download. So if you go here, click Download, you will be downloading the full and complete version of Personal Historian. And you just click right here. And it will begin downloading it. Yeah, there we go. It's downloading the setup program. I'm using Google Chrome for my web browser, but if you're using Internet Explorer, new versions of Internet Explorer, Firefox, you'll see something similar, download window, and then when you're done, you can just click on it and it'll bring up the installation program. You'll see, again, looking for that signature. It's been signed by Roots Magic. Click Run. And we have to give it permission again. And here's our setup. Now at this point it's identical to the CD. We just click Next and go step by step through the process. Okay, well, that is it. I think we've covered the major questions on installing and upgrading to Personal Historian 2. If you do have any additional questions, please contact our support. You can just go to rootsmagic.com, click here under Get Help, and we have many different options, different methods for you to get the help and assistance that you need. Thanks for watching.